Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're running a few minutes late. We had technical difficulties on our side, but also it's a little bit more complicated today because we're doing the exciting thing of this is sort of a crossover. It's a live recording of the Giant Robots Smashing into Other Giant Robots podcast, along with our special live stream series, AI in Focus. And so you're going to see a little bit of behind the scenes today, too, as we do this great live stream event with our amazing client, Keira from Imagineer, and then also do the production of the podcast, which is audio only, typically. So this special video episode of the podcast. So first of all, we'll get started with the actual real live intro of the show and everything. But Keira, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it for this live stream.
Good morning, Chad. Nice and early over here in Australia.
And it's been amazing working with you these last few months and talking with you for even much longer about bringing the amazing, fun Imagineer application to life. And I look forward to talking with you about that today.
It's been quite the journey, so looking forward to it.
Awesome. So I'm going to do the intro to the podcast, and then we'll dive into the interview and the episode.
Great.
This is the Giant Robots Smashing into Other Giant Robots podcast, where we explore the design, development, and business of great products. I'm your host, Chad Pytel, and I'm joined today by Keira Czarnota, the co-founder and head of product at Imagineer, the amazing and fun AI mobile app that is the future of Lego Play. Keira, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Chad.
So the vision for Imagineer is huge, and that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to work with you when I first when you first got in touch with us. And the more I learned about Imagineer, the more I wanted to be involved. And getting a product to market is one of the challenges that we're going to talk about today. But we figure we start with an amazing vision video that you put together to give everyone not only a glimpse at what Imagineer is, but what it is going to be in the future. So stay tuned. Here we go.
Excellent.
It's such a fun video, and um, and I think it gives people a sense of where we're headed. So how did you? Let's go rewind all the way back to the beginning. Where did
Sure.
this all start for you, and where did the idea come from?
Well, the boy in the video is Max. He's our youngest son. He was 7. We were building Lego for him for his birthday. And at the time, I was doing a lot of work around marketing analytics. So just getting actionable insights from data and then creating value for businesses. And the Lego movie had come out. It was just like this perfect storm of stimuli where we basically thought, imagine if we built an app and it was powered by AI. I'm not technical, as per getting into the actual live stream this morning. You saw that I can have some challenges with my computer. But what I can do is I can solve problems, and I'm good at doing that. And so my non-technical view of AI was, we know that AI can learn. It's the quality of the data in delivers the output. We know that AI can learn to do things better than a human. We know that there are actually real humans that are master builders. So imagine if we could build an app, it's powered by AI. You load every piece of Lego into it so it knows all of the inventory that's available. You load every instruction booklet for Lego that's ever been, so it has all the nuances of scale, playability, connectivity. And then you can take photos of objects. We can actually recognize the object, turn the object into a three-dimensional Lego build, and then reverse engineer the object with a parts list and building instruction, which is actually the patent that we have approved now in Europe. We've got it approved in Australia, and there's patents pending for that in America and other markets. Mm-hmm. So that was the idea. In the video, what you see is Max, and he's out with his mum and dad for the day, and he's taking photos of objects that are interesting to him. He then gets home and decides what he wants to build. He builds the orange McLaren, and then once he actually builds or completes that physical build, he gets a digital reward where he gets to drive the car in the Imagineer or Lego metaverse, if you like. Mm-hmm. So that was the whole idea in terms of what we thought we could build.
Mm-hmm. And so you got to work, and I think one of the things to really call out is this original idea, the inception of it, really happened before all of the advancements that we've had over the last couple of years in generative AI. And so the AI landscape, in terms of what it looked like to actually bring AI-powered products to market, was quite a bit different when you got started versus where it is today. What was some of the early sort of either hurdles or lessons you learned about trying to create an AI product back then?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're right. We were talking about AI and the metaverse well before anyone else was, or anyone that we knew of anyway, as a non-technical startup from Australia. I think what was happening in AI at the time was that it was very, very basic. It was very new. People had ideas, but there were very few examples where they were being well executed, and it was actually adding, proper business value. So it was a bit of a gimmick, I think, at that point in time. Certainly, when we were talking to IBM had a product called Watson, which was their lead of AI suite at the time. And IBM told us that it was the best idea they'd ever heard for AI. And I'm not surprised, because at the time they were doing things like tax efficiency for AI. So something for Lego.
I mean, not that that's not exciting, but
yeah, look, I'm sure it's exciting for some people, but it's probably not as exciting for the world as turning every Lego fan in the world with a smart device into a master builder.
Mm-hmm. I think from a technical perspective, pre sort of current generative models, to accomplish the kind of thing that we're talking about with Imagineer, you would have needed to fully train your own models into it in terms of achieving this kind of functionality. And I think that was, for a lot of companies, challenging, very expensive, but also you could potentially set out, especially if you're coming from an area where you're building up your data set that you're going to use to train the model, you're pulling everything in. It's error prone, or it's fraught in that at the end of the day, you could not be doing something that is fully viable, that produces great results. And for a lot of companies out there, especially if you're not doing something new, but if you're automating or trying to bring to scale something that people are already doing, what we saw at that time was that a lot of people would spend a lot of time and effort training a model, and it wouldn't actually be as good as if people did it. And then, so if you're only at 70% efficiency, then scaling up a mediocre person isn't necessarily going to lead to a great product. And that landscape has changed dramatically for a significant portion of sort of bringing new products to market, because even if a generative model isn't the perfect model for your product, it's a great tool for prototyping and knowing or validating whether we could have something that is viable, that it's going to produce good results if we're able to get the good data and everything. And I think that that's a really important lesson that a lot of companies are learning and experimenting with and growing now. And it's really exciting time because it's opening up the possibilities of doing things that were very difficult to do or impossible to do before are now only challenging. And that's so fast forwarding a little bit, what has the journey been like? I know you originally presented the vision and early prototypes for Lego and other partners. Can you talk a little bit about that and where the journey has brought Imagineer to today?
Sure. So one of the skills that I do have, as opposed to being non-technical, is solution selling. So when we sit down with large enterprise businesses, we like to ask them their challenges and try and uncover stuff that they can't resolve themselves, so that we can potentially have a chance to knock it out of the park for them and become a valued partner. So when we had the idea for Imagineer, we didn't just go off to Lego and say, hey, we've got this great idea. I reached out to Lego Australia. There was a young lady there called Jackie Wonder who was in charge of their digital team. I had a chat to her about the big challenges that Lego are facing. Jackie explained that Lego did have challenges that they wanted to resolve, and the primary one was kids would play with Lego until about the age of 10. Then they would leave Lego behind in search of digital adventures. And so Lego as a brand were desperate to stop the churn. They were desperate to re-engage the lost users, and they were desperate to blur the lines between physical Lego play, which was always Lego's priority, and digital Lego play, which is what the user was wanting. So at that point in time, we knew that we had an idea that we thought, if we could execute well on it, resolve those challenges and resolve them for a big market. We never went into this thinking, oh yeah, we're going to make lots of money. We went into this going, hey, we love Lego and we think we can make it better. And we knew that if we could do that, then we had the unfair advantage of a huge community of Lego fans worldwide, which even gives us an opportunity around even training the model, because as you said, we can get to a prototype quite quickly. We can get it to a stage where it shows the promise, but then if we can actually engage the community to train the model further, then that's where we can actually explode the capabilities. So that's essentially what we're looking to do. So at that point in time, Jackie loved the idea. She was reaching out to Lego Worldwide, who are based in Denmark. There was a guy there, Rob Lowe, who was in charge of their biggest digital product at that point in time, a product called Lego Life. And so she started reaching out to Rob to try and get a meeting. Around the same time, I went to New Zealand for an IBM event that I was part of. And one of the worldwide executive team for IBM was there, a guy called Kevin Bishop. And our IBM sort of partner manager said to Kevin, oh, Kevin, you should hear Keira's idea for Lego. And it turned out that Kevin had been running some CMO roundtables for large brands around the world, including Lego. And so he actually knew a guy called Ulrich Gurno, who was the CMO at the time of Lego, or one of the group heads. And so Kevin wanted to have a chat around the idea, and I sort of sat down with him over a coffee when he came to Melbourne the next week and explained to him the research I'd done with Jackie and the problems that Lego had. And Kevin pulled out his notebook from the round table with Lego, and he literally had the same notes. It was like, kids play with Lego till 10. They leave Lego in search of digital adventures. They're desperate to stop the churn, re-engage lost users. And so at that point in time, Kevin was a big fan. Big tech brands like IBM are always looking for ins with large enterprises like a Lego. And so if we can solve challenges, that was a really good sort of segue for him. So he started reaching out to Ulrich Gurno to try and get us a meeting, which was really exciting. This went on for a number of weeks. I get a little bit impatient at times, and when we hadn't had any traction, I said to my wife, who's my co-founder, I said, I'm going to Lego. I've got a meeting over there. But she didn't actually know that I didn't have a meeting. I'd just booked a flight to fly to the other side of the world to try and speak to some of these people. So landed in London, about to catch my connecting flight to Billund. It was super early. I picked up the phone and called Lego, managed to get Rob Lowe, who I hadn't managed to connect with up until then. I explained who I was. He was really confused. I explained that I was about to come to Billund to have a meeting, and he said, oh, we don't have the meeting scheduled. He ended up saying that he'd make half an hour for me. I arrived. He brought in the head of data analytics for Lego. So Rob Morton and I had a meeting. We went through, their challenges. They re-emphasized what we already knew. And by the end of the 90-minute unscheduled meeting, they were calling it the big idea. And I knew that we had something. So that was pretty exciting. Billund, I don't know if you've ever been to Lego and where they're headquartered, but
no, I haven't.
It's very much like a university town. There's no other industry there. It's literally buildings that are made up of these campus. It's all in Danish. It's quite hard to navigate. The only positive is that there's a lot of English speaking people there, because it is quite the global brand. So after this great meeting with Rob and Morton, I started walking around trying to find where Ulrich was based, and eventually found the building where he was and pressed the buzzer, and Ulrich's EA came out, and I said, oh, hi, I'm Keira. I'm here to see Ulrich. Kevin Bishop's been reaching out. I've just had this great meeting with Rob and Morton, and they told me that I've got the big idea. And she's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, like Ulrich is like the second in charge of Lego. He's not here at the moment. You've got to schedule these meetings like weeks in advance. But I'll tell him that you came past. And so I said, oh, great, thanks very much. And went back to the airport, jumped on my flight, landed back in Australia to an email from Ulrich. And it was, hey, Keira, really sorry I missed you. I heard you had a great meeting with Rob and Morton. Can we grab a quick call? So we grab a quick call. We talk about the challenges, the idea, and he says to me, can you fly back to Billund and present it to my executive team? So I jumped back on a plane and fly back, and then we were.
What did you tell your wife at that point?
Well, by that stage it was okay, because we had a lot of traction. So she could see the excitement from both their side and ours, and we knew that we had something that needed to sort of be explored quite quickly.
Mm-hmm. The level of hustle, sort of, you gotta admire that, but it's also takes what did it actually feel like to you? Just what made you do those things?
Yeah, good question. I just knew the idea was that good.
Yeah,
I've had some good ideas in my work life. I just knew that idea was world class, and I knew that the problem was big enough, the market was big enough, and that it could become something very special. I think I'm lucky as well with teenage boys. They play video games. I was always interested in seeing what video games they played. Mm-hmm. I do play Fortnite, so I'd seen a lot of how digital innovation could be brought to different experiences. I had this feeling that we could create something that, Chad builds his dog, and builds it physically out of Lego, and then he gets to take it to the animal park where Keira's horse is there, and we get to engage and do all these fun things and have adventures. So I just knew the potential of it was so good.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've loved really, I'm a Lego, enthusiast myself, especially when I was younger. I have two kids who love Lego and played with it. They were on first Lego League with building robotics with Lego Mindstorms and now more advanced robotics. So Lego has been part of our lives for a long time. One of the things I wasn't aware of is sort of how supportive Lego is of the actual community, how liberal they are with using their trademarks and the pieces and everything. And at the same time, they're also a big company. They're a big enterprise. And I think that's one of the exciting things about Imagineer and the vision that that Lego have brought in terms of being open about the challenges of the market and where the opportunity is. It's sort of refreshing to hear that, you reached out to them and they were upfront. And I think that there's something about the culture of Lego that they foster in the community, and to see that go through to the way that they opened up to you is really cool.
Well, Lego in the early 2000s almost went bankrupt. So
Really, I
they
didn't
had,
know that.
yeah, they'd line extended quite dramatically. And
Mm-hmm.
it was only the family that owned Lego putting in a gazillion dollars to save it that basically stopped it going bankrupt. So at that point in time, and what Lego, as you alluded to, Lego have been very good with fostering communities, and they've been very good at actually allowing those communities to develop products. So the Lego Movie, for example, was a
Mm-hmm.
fan idea that then became one of the biggest licensing opportunities for Lego. There's products out there that were started by fans that have since been bought by Lego. There's a lot of Lego adjacent businesses run by fans. So yeah, I think they're very open to it. I think they are very much focused on the brick after
Yeah.
the challenges of almost losing it all. But they also realise that I mean, we worked very closely with Lego for a number of years, and then we've gone to build it ourselves. And we were told in no uncertain terms that if we build it and we prove that we can build it in an audience, then Lego will absolutely be interested in working with us moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. So, yeah, that becomes. I actually think it's a better opportunity, because dealing with a large enterprise like Lego can actually really slow you down. So we
Yeah.
can be nimble and agile and do things, and we can probably get a product to market faster and better than what Lego can themselves, with the hierarchy and the approval that they need to go through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, so we started talking a little while ago, and when we first started talking, you had been working on bringing Imagineer to market, and I think one of the things that is fraught in terms of bringing new products to market is figuring out. You have all these ideas, you have the world, and this isn't just about Imagineer. It's basically every founder that we work with. You know where you want to end up,
Yeah,
and figuring out what that product you can actually bring to market in a reasonable time frame that is going to achieve product market fit. That is what, there's lots of different, some people call it the minimum viable product, those kinds of things. And so you had been working on Imagineer for a while, and I think had amazing sort of building blocks that weren't yet in the market. And so what we started talking about is, how do we take this, bring it together, and actually get something into the hands of users that we can then build upon.
yeah.
How did that feel for you as sort of a founder, trying to navigate that?
Yeah, well, I think one of the learnings that I've had through this process is that there's a lot of people, um, as developers, that make promises. There's a lot of people around startups that want to put their claws into a great idea. Um, we had some significant challenges with not being technical because we had to outsource those capabilities, and the reason we wanted to do that initially was we thought that if we could engage an expert to deliver the technical capabilities, they would already have teams and skills that had been assembled, and we would basically get a product that would be available much faster and cheaper. That was the thought process
Mhm.
behind it. Um, the first developer that we got introduced to, he ended up stealing $300,000 from us. So that was less than ideal. We were introduced to him by a VC, who this guy was on the head of their advisory board, and he was meant to be the godfather of modern gaming, but actually turned out he was just a fraud that had a lot of good stories written about him online. The second company that we worked with, great company, very established in digital experiences for kids, had been going for 20 odd years, like thoughtbot, but just didn't have the capabilities of AI. And when we actually just backtracking a step, when we actually were sort of endorsed top down by Ulrich and had the idea and had some momentum moving forward, we were asked very quickly to build a prototype and
Mhm.
debut it at Lego World, which is Lego's biggest annual event. So in about 3 months, we built a product that allows Chad to take a selfie. We recognize your physical characteristics and then turn you into a Lego minifigure. We debuted that at Lego World alongside our vision video that you showed at the start of the pod. So we're showing, hey, this is what we can do in terms of turning you into a digital minifigure, and this is the vision of where we want to get to. We were very lucky with that process in that um, the crowd went wild for it. So I think we're in the sort of test labs area of Lego World. Lego had given us a bunch of university students, Danish university students, who were taking notes, and the feedback was nothing short of exceptional. I think something like 99% of people loved what we were doing, and we were training the AI at that point in time. So there were heaps of mistakes that it was making. In fact, on the first
Mhm.
day of the 3-day event, the AI didn't even work because IBM had changed some of the plumbing in the background. On the second day, it started to get a little bit better. By the third day, we were starting to get some good matches because we were training the AI as we went. Um, and from there, we were invited by Lego to go to Billund, to the worldwide headquarters, and build out the strategic roadmap alongside the technical and the partnership teams of Lego. And what happened in that process was they said, look, your idea is great, but we've kind of thought of it before, but we've never been able to get over this hill.
Mhm.
And we go, oh, okay, well, this is how we'd approach that. And then they go, well, what about this next hill? And we go, oh, well, this is how we do that. And by the end of the 3 days, the technical team signed off on it, saying, we think these guys can build it and that they've got the right idea. And the partnership team asked us if we wanted to sell it. To them, which we said no, because when we spoke to Ulrich and we said, what happens if we can solve these big challenges for you? He said, well, you become a valued partner of the Lego group, which has always been the goal. But what I guess I'm trying to say is from that process, we learned that we couldn't get to the vision video straight
Mhm.
away. There's no
Mhm.
way. You'd spend years in development, and who knows if you'd actually build something that the users actually want at that point in time. So our whole process and what you've helped us with is identifying sort of three feature sets that we're going to launch with, that we actually learn complex tasks from, that'll empower us to actually be better and get over the next hill that we have to in Q1 of 25. So that's the process of where we're going. And just going back to the second developers that we worked with and we worked with them for a number of years. They were very good at building digital experiences for kids, but they did not have the AI chops, the absolute world class AI experience to build something that had never been done before.
And
So
the world was rapidly evolving around them as well. So
oh
things were
sure, like
changing very rapidly.
yeah, with the current generative AI, they might have got there, right? But at the time they couldn't, and we were sort of spinning the wheels, which delayed us somewhat. But I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, even if something shit happens and you're like, oh, why did that happen? We're good people. Why did that happen? You might not know it at the time. You might not know it in a week or a month, but down the track, something will happen. You go, oh, that's why that happened, because it put us on the path to Chad, and that's where
Mm.
we met you. And I think what we've been really lucky with Imagineer is the idea is so strong that everyone understands it from an elevator pitch. We've never had anyone say that's a bad idea. Like everyone goes, that's a great idea. They almost can't work out why it hasn't happened already. And through that process, there's lots of people that you get introduced to. And one of them that we'd been introduced to was Jason Calacanis is a very
Mm-hmm.
successful angel investor in America, and he and his team were in Australia. They met us. We weren't quite right for their thesis because you have to have a product, you have to have some customers. But one of their senior team actually invested in us personally, and had never done so outside of America. And when we were having challenges with our second developer, we went back to this investor and said, "Hey, who do you think we should talk to?" And they'd originally introduced us to a guy called Rob May, who's an AI expert out of America. And Rob is the guy that Jason and his team basically use to vet any AI idea that they're looking to put money into. So we jumped on another call with Rob, and he agreed that the models had gotten better and better. Generative AI was becoming stronger. And he always liked the idea, and so I said to him, well, Rob, if this was your idea, who would you get to build it? And he didn't even balk at it. He said straight away, he goes, there's one company I would go to. It's a bespoke firm out of Boston in the States. I'll introduce you to their founder, Chad. And that's when we started talking, and that was, I think, a bit over a year ago now.
Mm-hmm. And part of what we haven't been working together on shipping this for a year. Part of it was working together to be like, oh, maybe we can make this work, and giving you some advice and that kind of thing, because we really wanted our first and foremost, what we try to do is make people successful, even if that means that they don't end up working with us. So there was some time trying to work through that. And then coming together after it wasn't quite working, and then saying, okay, let's put together a plan to take what we have, take the pieces that exist, figure out how to bring a product to market. And that's what we're excited to launch now. Is, like you said, it's a fun, new, amazing AI driven mobile app with 3 core features: that ability to take a picture of yourself, to take a selfie, or take a picture of somebody else, take a picture from your camera roll and get a Lego minifigure version of that person, and to be able to get stickers and emoji sort of stickers from it, and to be able to share those with people. And then for people who are familiar with Lego, they have the concept of brickheads, which is like celebrity, comic book characters, that kind of thing. It's a larger, blocky Lego figure. And so to be able to get one of those of yourself, or a picture. And like you said, these are building blocks too, because that kind of thing then leads to being able to do other kinds of models as well. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
And then being able to have all at your fingertips the Lego, every single piece that you might own, all the sets that you might own, and the whole database of sets. And so to be able to tell Imagineer, I've got this set, I've got these pieces, and to be able to view models that exist in the world and to be able to say, okay, you can build this one. You have 75% of the pieces. Here's what you would need in order to build it, and to be able to start building it, and to be able to step through that 3D experience of, and in some ways, that original vision, being able to see the models in 3D space and rotate around them and play with them and that kind of thing in 3D. Those building blocks, those core feature set make up the features that we're launching with now.
Exactly, and I think don't underestimate the simple capability of people being able to load in the Lego sets that they've got. You know, we did it with the recent build that you sent us. We've got 50 Lego sets, and the combination of those 50 Lego sets means that we can build hundreds and hundreds of Lego models that already exist. So it's basically reinvigorating the household investment of Lego. You can build cool stuff using the Lego that you've got. It's fully personalized, like being able to build a personalized brickhead in which is a 3D Lego model of Master Builder quality. It's never been done before. So there's some really, really cool sort of benchmarks that we're setting. But it is just the beginning, which is probably the most exciting part. And I think 2025 will go very quickly, and I think we'll see more and more additions to what you can do with Imagineer.
So we're in beta now, and we have a form that people can, who are watching, can visit, and it'll be in the show notes as well, to register to be a part of the beta and get early access. And we're really looking for people to come along the journey of Imagineer with us as well. And so we're doing something really exciting called a founder pack. You want to tell people about that?
Yeah, well, the founder pack, the tagline for Imagineer is "Build Your World." Now, when you launch a product like this, you can go out and buy, Facebook ads and try and get customer acquisition that way. What we've decided to do, which is a little bit different, is we want to actually really empower the Lego creators out there. So what we're doing is we're trying to engage master builders to help us train the model. We're trying to engage Lego content creators to talk about Imagineer so we can actually get more traction and actually grow faster. And with that being the case, we've launched a founders pack, and it's ideally created for master builders or content creators with Lego channels. But as part of the pod, we're making it available to your audience. And it's essentially the ability to get in at the ground floor, get a whole bunch of incentives around Imagineer and what it becomes. It's kind of like if you were the first in at World of Warcraft or Fortnite, and you got the ability to have some really cool skins that no one else gets. You get some sort of exclusive benefits and recognition. That's the way it's been designed. It's by gamers for gamers. One of our team is a very established in the gaming community. She's helped us sort of define what the Founders Pack needs to be and what it needs to deliver for users. And that's just the launch product that we're making available today.
Yeah. And like you said, one of the amazing things about Lego is that there's this thriving community of builders, both master builders and community people who, make models, they share new sets that they've created, everything. And so that's actually an important part of where the vision of Imagineer is to learn, because one of the challenges when you start building larger and larger pieces is making them actually buildable. And that's one of the skill sets that people have that computers don't have right now is, they can maybe put the outside of the Lego together, but how do you actually make it buildable, stick together, stay together, durable, those kinds of things. And for that, we need to learn from the existing models and existing sets. Maybe we have to stop using the word model when we're talking about AI and Lego.
Yeah, I think if you go back to when we debuted at Lego World and the one sort of negative feedback that we'd get, the 1%ers, the common theme was, oh, it takes away the creativity of Lego. Now, at the time, I didn't have the answer for that, but I do now, because that's an odd statement, because every Lego set comes with parts listed and building instructions that you can build something once, right? So I would actually now say Imagineer fosters creativity because it teaches you how to become a master builder. I love the sitcom Silicon Valley, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you like they do there when they're building a data warehouse that it's going to change the world, right? Imagineer is not going to change the world, but it's our hope and aspiration that in years from now, when someone who is amazing comes up with a product that does change the world, and they're asked, what was your inspiration, or how did you come up with the idea? It's our wish that they say something along the lines of, I've always loved Lego. Imagineer showed me that anything was possible. And Imagineer is not here to be the only product that you ever use to build Lego. Imagineer is here to help you build Lego that you want to build, so that you learn the nuances of connectivity, scale, connectivity, all these things, so that you eventually can become your own master builder and you can build stuff without Imagineer. That's the whole, that's the vision.
And then share those things with the community, which on Imagineer. So there's an amazing opportunity to do that there.
Well, even like there's so many ways that we can use data to create a better experience. So you upload your sets, so we know the common pieces that you have that are similar to my pieces. Then we can talk to master builders that are training the AI and say, hey, let's not use the 1% of pieces that hardly anyone has, because then we're just going to disappoint people. Let's maybe use these common pieces. And so that becomes the opportunity where, if we know the pieces that you've got and I've done a really cool build that I share, we can then say to Chad, hey, Chad, Keira's just done this build. You've got all the pieces. Would you like to do it yourself? So there's lots of ways that we can actually re-engage and add value, again, without having to buy more Lego.
Yeah. So we've got a demo of some of the functionality in Imagineer. The first thing we're going to show is that experience of taking a selfie and getting a Lego minifig version of yourself. And this is beta, so what you're seeing is the first time I think anything outside of anywhere besides Imagineer and thoughtbot has been shown, and it's just the beginning. So we're excited to share it with people now. We're gonna Lindsay, you want to cue it up? Awesome. This is our designer Ferdia using the app, who's done a great job getting us started. And what you saw there is Ferdia just took a picture of himself. And one of the amazing things that I have to remind people is that this is actually buildable. We're not just making up a version of a Lego minifigure that looks like Ferdia. We're doing it using pieces that actually exist. So you can go out and you can actually build this. This isn't just a made up thing. We've got a very cool 3D virtual builder experience where you can then choose from all the other pieces, skins, textures, change facial hair, put different hats on, different hairstyles, and it's all built in a rich 3D environment. So everything's being rendered on the fly in real 3D, which was really important to the product and to the experience, and also to where we want to go in the future. I don't know, Keira, if you have anything to say about this demo as it's going. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think what's great with this demo is that we're proving the capabilities with the different materials. Oh, that's weird.
No,
So
I can
what
hear
we're
you now.
doing here is we're building it with the different materials of hairstyles and facial expressions and things like that. Um, what's really interesting is Lego have databases of all of this. And so at the moment, we've got a limited database in there because we're just proving the concept, and we're just about to add every part of it in there, which will give millions and millions of personalizations that you can have. But what we're doing here, and the whole brief for this process was to make it like the Apple emoji and emoji process, where you take your photo, you turn yourself into the avatar really quickly, and then you've got stickers that you can share. And what we say is, if you're a Lego fan, why would you ever share a standard emoji when you can share yourself as a Lemoji? So we think that'll become a big part of people actually hearing about Imagineer and what we're doing.
So I don't know that I've told you this story, but we recently had Thanksgiving here in the US. And, when you are in what I do, we make apps for people. We've had big clients. You usually try to like, what do you do? Or what are you working on? You always get the question at Thanksgiving, what's cool? What are you working on? And a lot of times it's like, you just sort of gravitate towards the things people will recognize, even if they're not the most super exciting. It's like the name brand that people will recognize and that kind of thing. I was super excited this year to be able to be like, hey, I'm working on this cool app. Instantly people got it, and then we were passing around the app and people were taking pictures of themselves doing the selfie. And even with the sets of just what we have in, the people were, I'm on it, this sounds like a sales pitch, but the people were delighted by what they were getting back.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thrilled because, when we first started, I was like trying to do this, and it was just not producing good results for me or anybody else. And it's not only exciting to be able to pass it around and have an app in people's hands that people just instantly connect with, but to know, hey, from where we started to where we are now, the fact that it's even producing things that look like all of my family is an amazing milestone.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about the basic premise of turning someone into a minifigure, you go, will that get traction? Will people actually enjoy that? And I think you've had confirmation that is kind of cool, because everyone has this great emotive connection to Lego. I mean, it was funny when we debuted at Lego World, because the AI, we were in this really dark room and it had downlights, and our
Mm-hmm.
stakeholder from Lego was this probably 65-year-old bald Danish guy. And so he would take his photo, and sometimes he'd come out looking one way, and other times he'd come out totally different, because the AI was just learning. But it was hilarious at one stage, because he was underneath the downlight, so there was this huge bit of sort of bright light on his head, and he took his photo, and he came out with this huge mop of blonde hair, because the light had really messed up the AI. We had lots of kids during the couple of days at Lego World where the AI got it totally wrong, but they just loved seeing it, and they got fun from it, and they were excited even with it being terrible. So I know that once we have all of the materials in there, and it's just like bang on in terms of you could not create it better if you tried, I just know that people will go crazy for it.
Yeah. Oh, and I should mention, since there's an audio only version, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, all the links to the demo videos, they're going to be coming to the YouTube version of this stream, and you'll be able to see that. So if you just saw us talking about something that you couldn't see, look in your podcast player at the show notes, and there'll be a link there to that. You can see that demo. So the next thing is what we talked about with brickies. And this is where we start to expose some of the challenges of building buildable Lego models or sets or pieces, because you've got to make sure that they connect together and are buildable. And so we'll show the demo for Bricky, and we'll talk through it as we do that. So similar experience here. This is our designer at thoughtbot, Caro, doing. So she takes a picture of herself, and we're going to get a much more complex model. And again, rich 3D experience, full 3D, and then being able to go into a builder and to change out the different experiences, add different facial features and hairstyles and that kind of thing. And one of the things, as we were saying, is making this be actually buildable was the one of the primary challenges here. And I think that what we've essentially determined is that in order to really do it, you need to learn from people who know how to build Lego, and that's what we're going to be that we're training on. Was that a sort of, at what point was that a surprise, Keira?
No, I think we all always wanted to actually work closely with master builders to actually train the models.
I just want to call it, I love the transition effects here too, where the pieces are coming apart and then new pieces are coming in. I think it's, when you're building a Lego app around Lego, you want to make sure that there's some whimsy and some fun in it. So to be able to integrate that is important to the experience, I think. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to call that out.
Yeah, no, I think this really captures it, because people can understand, hey, there's a torso, there's a head, there's hair, and basically it's the connectivity of that creates the actual personalized bricky. But yeah, this is a super cool aspect of it. I've actually seen there's quite a few people online. There's people on Etsy, for example, that design custom brickies or brickheads for people. So this is just a process that Imagineer will have down pat very quickly, and literally you'll take a photo of anyone and be able to build them out of Lego.
And what you're seeing here is the actual build steps of building this model now. So we're going through, or step by step, which pieces, basically the instructions to then build that model.
Yeah, and what's great about this, I mean, there's lots of building instructions for Lego that are in PDF form. There are becoming more versions of this. This is called L-Draw, which is the three-dimensional model that you can actually rotate. What's great is when you can't find where a piece goes, you can actually turn the model around to actually see exactly where it goes. But yeah, it's definitely the future of Lego building instructions, that's for sure.
And then it does save your progress. So it's saving progress at every step of the way. And so especially if you're building a big set, you want to be able to pause, stop here, and come back to it later. And so that's fully in a part of Imagineer. And so we have this level of instruction and building for a bunch of actual official Lego sets as well. And then for ones where we don't have yet the 3D models, we have the PDF versions of those instructions. So even if you're working on something and you've got 100% of the pieces that are going to allow you to build that model, but there's not a 3D version of it, you'll be able to step through the written instructions.
Exactly right. And it's interesting to note that Lego's most successful app of all time, Chad, is their building instructions app. So I think it's had close to 40 million downloads since it debuted in 2022. But there's no personalization in there. So it doesn't tell you the Lego that you've got and what you can build. It doesn't do minifigs for you. So it doesn't do emojis, and it certainly doesn't do customized brickies.
So the final demo is that third pillar feature. There's more pieces in between all of these in terms of what Imagineer is today and what it'll be in the future. But this is showing the sets that you do have and being able to find more sets for them based on the pieces that you have. And like we said, being able to drill in and get those instructions and to be able to build those apps. So this is, from a technical perspective, an interesting problem, because you want to be able to, there are like 18,000 Lego sets, official Lego sets out in the world. There are many, many more. And so from a technical perspective, to get the pieces that you have and to be able to efficiently be able to rapidly search the entire Lego set database and figure out exactly which pieces you have of the millions of pieces that go into building those sets and which sets. And that was an interesting technical problem for us to solve. That wasn't entirely straightforward.
Well, it's also interesting, Chad, when we work through the technical roadmap with the Lego teams, one of the ideas we had was, lay all your Lego out and just take a photo of it, and visual recognition can capture all the pieces and assemble your collection. We dismissed that within about 10 minutes because there are a whole range of reasons why we didn't think that was ideal. So, the person taking the photo might be a kid. The lighting might not be good. The camera might not actually be of a good quality. We knew that if we knew the Lego sets, as I said, we've got 50 Lego sets in our collection. We've got all the instructions. You can literally just click on the set and it adds every piece from that set. If you actually have a set on display and you don't want to use those pieces when you're building stuff, you can actually put in there that your set's on display. So we just wanted to have it as an inventory management system that was totally efficient, could show you everything that you could build and would allow you to get the most out of your Lego. And I think the aesthetic of it is still, so for example, there you've got some of the models and they're just on a white blank form, right? Now that's not what we will eventually have in market. They will be in situ, and there'll be these sort of inspiring backgrounds that are all Lego related that makes the model pop and literally makes the user desperate to build that actual that model. So, but this will show you the capability of how we're putting it all together, how you can scroll, you can choose via themes, you can choose via subject matter, and it's not designed to take away from your experience with the Lego. It's designed to deepen your experience with the Lego and basically help you build what you want to build at a better level.
Yeah. So once again, those links to join the beta are in the chat and will be included in the show notes as well. In a few minutes, we're going to take audience questions. So feel free to, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We look forward to answering them. Keira, what, we're rapidly doing the beta process and getting towards the initial launch, and we're really looking forward to getting people's feedback and for people coming along the journey with us. Here you can see the instructions of building a full set with this rich 3D experience. What I, as a founder, one of the things I always love about founders is your eye is on the next thing, right? What do you feel like is the next thing for Imagineer?
There's so many. I think the great thing about the collaborative way we want to build a community for Imagineer is that the people involved from the ground, from day one, will actually help us define the roadmap and what the feature set is and what's prioritized. So that's going to become super exciting. This will essentially be a project that you will feel like you're invested in and you're a big part of driving the outcome. But there's so many different things. We have the idea that you can go to different landmarks around the world, stand in a certain spot, take a photo, and you and your family turn out as Lego. The landmark actually, for example, the Opera House exists as a Lego model. The Opera House in Australia appears as a Lego model. We can do things like amazing races based on going and collecting postcards around the world at various landmarks. We're doing sets of the week where users will get to vote on their favorite Lego set across a couple of options each week. We'll be giving those sets away each week. Yeah, there's so much that's going to go forward in the features, and we think quite quickly as well. We're talking to a car manufacturer where that when you buy their car, they typically give the people a welcome pack or a little sort of a nice little gift when they purchase the car. And we said, well, these people are buying cars that they're emotive about. Why don't we have the ability to send them a Lego model of their car that they can build physically and put on their desk, so that everyone knows the car that they've got. There's lots of different ideas that we've got and where we want to take it, but it will explode faster based on the uptake from the community and how much they want to take ownership of it and actually drive the outcome of where we go.
Yeah. And we have a lot of amazing designers and developers in our audience. And one of the things that we often help our clients do is, work to build a team that's eventually going to work alongside of us, learn from us, and then take over. And I know that that's something that's on your roadmap as well. So if you're a designer or developer and you love Lego and what you're seeing today is exciting to you, definitely get in touch, because Keira wants to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wanted to work with the best people to get our product into the world. We want to continue working alongside Chad and the team, and ideally, we want to build out our internal capabilities. So if you're into AI, if you're a world-class designer, if you love Lego, then you're our type of person. So get in touch.
So once again, we're going to take some questions if there are any from people watching. So if you've got a question for Keira or myself, a technical question, a product question, a business question, a fun question, feel free to drop it in the chat. While we wait for any questions to come in, a few things. If you've enjoyed today's show, we have a whole live stream series called AI in Focus, and you can go to thoughtbot.com and click in the lower right hand corner to get to that. And it's a combination of videos, some from our team talking through a process we have for bringing new AI products to market and what some pitfalls are and that kind of thing, and then some technical sessions with me where I do actual development of AI features in real applications, typically Ruby applications, which is where we do a lot of our work. So, and if you have an idea for a product, or you're looking to see how AI can be applied to your organization, don't hesitate to get in touch at thoughtbot.com. Keira, if folks want to follow along with you or get in touch with you, where are all the best places for them to do that?
I'm on LinkedIn. Imagineer has all the standard channels across socials. Just look us up, get in touch. We've got a great team, and we're very friendly. We're Australian, so we're always happy to talk to people.
And we're in private beta now, so there's the forms in the chat if you want to get in on the private beta. And once it launches in the App Store, you'll just be able to search for Imagineer, emagineer, with an
all lowercase.
Anything else that we want to call out?
I think the beauty of Imagineer is that it actually really does take us down that creative bent. It blurs the lines between physical and digital play, which is what users seem to want across not just Lego, but almost every product these days. And there's gamification. So as someone that's tried to build Lego models previously that I'm free building and they come out looking like I'm in kindergarten, I'm looking forward to building objects that are interesting to me and that I can execute at an extremely high level.
I think the thing that a lot of like this is the case for our family too, is once you build something, there's two types of people in the world. There's the people who then take it apart, and there's the other people who put it on the shelf. And my son is one of the people who puts it on the shelf. He has built Lego models all over his room, which is great for Lego's business because that means we need to keep on buying new pieces.
Exactly. Well, when we were working really closely with Lego, there's all these amazing statistics that they talk to you about, and they're out of every Lego set, like out of 10 Lego sets, they'll all get built,
Hmm.
and 90% of them, within a week or two, are in thousands of pieces on the ground and will never be built again as that one set. But I think what is very evident with Lego over certainly recent years, and it's been very different to when I was a kid, is that they are building these models that have very specific pieces that are designed
Hmm.
for one build only, and that they really are designed to be to put on display. So, a hope and aspiration of us is that once we prove that the audience loves it and that we can deliver, I would hope that there's actually a Lego Imagineer set that is sold, and it's basically all the components that you need to build thousands and thousands of models over and over again.
Awesome. So you can subscribe to the show and find notes for this episode at giantrobots.fm. If you have questions or comments, email us at hosts@giantrobots.fm. You can find me on Mastodon at cpytel@thoughtbot.social. Keira, thank you again for not only joining me today, but going on this journey with us and putting your trust in us. And I look forward to not only what lies in the immediate days and weeks ahead, but to the journey and watching and bringing Imagineer to life over the long term.
Well, it's been great working with you, Chad, and it's been very collaborative. And I do really appreciate both you and the team and the enthusiasm that you've got for the project, and the sort of ownership that you've all taken of it. So it's definitely an extension of us, and we feel that it's also an extension of you. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you all for watching this podcast and listening. This podcast is brought to you by Thoughtbot. See you next time.